We come into the world asking two questions. Two questions. Do I matter and do I belong? And that matters more to us than food or water. Because we know that if we matter and belong, we'll get the food and water. When they pulled back the Iron Curtain on the orphanages in some of those Soviet bloc countries, they found children in orphanages who were being fed and they had plenty to drink. And they were dying. They were dying. It's called failure to thrive. And why were those children dying in those orphanages? They were getting plenty of food and they were getting plenty to drink. But you know what they didn't have? They didn't matter and they didn't belong to anybody. In fact, you know what else was curious about those orphanages? They went in and there'd be whole rooms full of babies. Now typically, if some of you have kids or if you got siblings that do, if you got your own kids, what happens when you, or you work at a nursery, at a church or anything, what happens when you put babies together in a room? What do? One cries and then what happens? They all cry. You put a bunch of babies in a room, they're all screaming. The babies in these orphanages, they weren't crying. It was dead silent. You had whole rooms full of babies that were quiet. You know why they were quiet? They'd cried and cried and cried. And what did they learn? Yeah, no one's coming. No one's coming. I don't matter and belong to anybody. I can cry out and no one hears. You know what the focal distance for a newborn baby is? How far a newborn baby can focus with their eyes when they begin to see. Do you know how far it is, the distance a newborn child can see with their eyes? Do you know how far it is? Anyone know? It's about 18 inches. That's the distance between the breast and the face. If that newborn baby coming into the world who wants to know do they belong and matter, they can see the face of the woman who's answering that question. And do you know that that question gets answered even before birth? That question is being answered in the womb, where that child knows that voice I hear, even of my father, and that woman who I'm inside of, they are the key to my living. And what does the DNA of a human being want to do? Live. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to live because I was made to live. And that means if I belong and matter to that man and that woman that I come out, that I've been born to, if I belong and matter to them, I'm going to get everything I need that's going to keep me alive. And that baby, although born into a fallen world and fallen in their own sin, that baby has healthy shame. You know what healthy shame means? That baby's not afraid to cry out and say, I have a need, and I'm thinking you're going to come meet it. It can be the middle of the night. I'm going to cry out because I'm scared, or I'm hurting, or I'm lonely and just want some company, or I'm hungry and want somebody to feed me. And I have an expectation that you are going to come meet my need, that I matter and belong to you, and you're going to take care of me. And by the way, I matter and belong to you not based on anything I've done. Just because here I am. Does anyone in here have like a toddler that's just barely walking? Okay. A little boy or a little girl? Little girl. If that little girl came in here right now, let's just pick, what's her name? If Ashley came in here, in that door right there, how old is she? 14 months. She's walking? Yeah, so she's coming in, okay? Let's say all she's got on is a diaper. That's appropriate for a 14-month-old. And let's say that diaper's hanging low, okay? Because it's been on a while, okay? And she's probably reached in there, and then she's kind of wiped it on herself a little bit, and her hair's kind of, and she's kind of, you can picture that, and you could smell her come around the corner. Here she comes. If she walked in here right now, okay, like poopy, dirty, hair messed up, half naked, just wearing an old diaper she's had on far too long, needed to have been changed like hours ago, what would be her expectation of all y'all in here, but especially you? That you're going to what? Absolutely delight in her. Like, oh, isn't she the most precious thing I've ever seen? And she's going to expect you to pick her up. And there's nothing in her. There's nothing in her saying, oh, there's no way he's going to want to be near me. Oh, I better go get this clean. I better go get a clean diaper on before I walk in here. Oh, I better get a shirt on. I better get this off me. There's nothing in her that's even comprehending the possibility. One, that we wouldn't all delight in her, but especially you would not embrace her. In spite of the mess that she's coming in here with. That's healthy shame. She's not ashamed of her neediness or her condition. She just says, if I belong and matter to you, well, and I do. And you're going to care for me, and my need of you is not what's wrong with me. In fact, it's what's right about me. It's absolutely what's right about me.